It's very good to see such a strong blockchain community. I think we have the most number of projects per capita, if I'm not mistaken. We see some of the first movers in the space. Also some of the new projects that you are able to talk to outside. So I would like to discuss with you about the topic that is very complementary to what Mr. Zenel and Mr. Gubo were discussing before. So whether the crypto finance, the whole ecosystem, the whole new industry that is developing, is it just a fad or is it going to grow into the new financial dimension and further? So I would like to share some of our experience that we have from the industry and would also like to hear your opinion on it. About 4 years ago, I was working for a regional bank, and a warning came out to all employees. It was a warning that some companies engaging in a lot of transactions that could be linked to Bitcoin. And Bitcoin at the time was, especially for financial institutions, it was known as the cryptocurrency for criminal activity and money laundering. Now, the company that they were warning against was Bitstamp. As probably most of you know, Bitstamp today is one of the few regulated exchanges, crypto exchanges out there. And interesting enough, today Bitstamp has more monthly revenue than this regional bank. So we see that we have come far, especially in the past 2 or 3 years with all the media engagement. Today, when you open up a Handelsblatt or Financial Times or even Wall Street Journal, you are able to read something about cryptocurrencies or Bitcoin itself. So this is really good in that sense that the interest is picking up and the major financial institutions are trying to enter the market. Now, maybe if I ask some of the people, who here already bought a cryptocurrency? Let them raise hand. Okay, quite some. At which exchange do you buy one?
Bitstamp.
Ah, Bitstamp, okay. Maybe Mr. Robert from Korea. At which exchange do you buy your Bitcoins?
Just one moment.
Maybe. I know there are quite some in Korea, very, very popular.
Yes, that's right. There are several exchanges in the three. Bitstamp is very popular, and the two more is very popular also.
So you see, we have the same Bitcoin that is a commodity, somewhere also a currency, and is being traded global around the globe. So some like to buy it home in Slovenia, in Ljubljana, some others in other parts of the world. And because of different supply-demand curves, the price of the Bitcoins varies around the globe. And this is our role in the market. We create the automated market-making solutions that are basically redistributing the liquidity and pricing across exchanges. So when a user comes to the exchanges, has enough liquidity to buy or sell his tokens, cryptocurrencies, and vice versa. So this is what we do in the market. And in that sense, we have some quite good feeling for where the industry technology is standing. And what we see is that it's at a very, very early stage, right? It's in the high growth phase, but very early stage. The software architecture and the different solutions, like you probably use wallet solutions, blockchain processing systems, crypto exchanges. Now, they were built 3 to 4 years ago from a couple of enthusiasts in a garage, and my hat is definitely off to them, as they've pushed the industry to where it is today. But this has come with some price. And the good news is that now the major players are entering, the CME and so forth. The big development companies are improving that. And the question is whether this is here to stay, or is it just a fad? Is it just a tulip that once the Bitcoin will go down, that these institutions will turn away and not invest anymore? Because the funding is definitely not scarce today, but is determining the future development of the industry, just like we've seen with the internet in 2000. Now, the way we see it is that the crypto finance will form a new financial dimension. We are moving toward the ICO 3.0 and so forth. And already next year in some countries, you will be able to legally raise equity, sell debt, issue intellectual property rights via tokenized crowd sale and so forth. We've heard from Mr. Luca Gubbo that new products are coming into the market like CTIs and so forth. And it is very important to satisfy the demand that is on the market. You are going to have 1 million of tokens out there and very few service providers that are able to issue futures, options, financing, hedge instruments, and so forth. There is a whole variety of products that needs to be created. Now, I'm not really a fan of the idea that one day the whole world will be fully decentralized. So like decentralized exchanges, that there will no be centralized exchanges, no regulators, our own world. I am a fan of a hybrid between it. And this is what we already see developing. The regulations, the governments, they want to play some role in it. But what they are lacking at the moment is not the will to do so, it's the understanding for the technology. One example, we were discussing the idea of the simple crypto exchange traded fund in Europe with one regulator. And they are all for it. They have no problem whatsoever against crypto or Bitcoin. Now, what they couldn't understand is the technological link. When you have the ETF that invests in stocks, you have a custodian, a bank, an institution that holds those stocks, and that they are there as collateral, that if the issuer defaults, the investor can go there and pick up his collateral. Now, with the cryptocurrencies, the regulator simply does not understand how this is stored. It is definitely not on your bank account. So what they want to see is the classical financial institutions to play a role also in the decentralized world. Now, there are some progressive banks, and the industry is moving forward. You have Bank Falcon in Switzerland. You have Bank Frei in Liechtenstein. And they're already enabling custody of the top 4 or 5 cryptocurrencies. It is still a long way to go. But basically, what is slowing the DAO is the understanding of the technology. And this is where they rely to a different service providers, different partners. So this is the main area that we see that is going to pave the high growth rate of this industry after the market adjustment that will come. Now, I would love if anybody else has the opinion on it. Will the world be only decentralized, or will there be a hybrid between the government regulators and the blockchain projects? Anybody? Not really. We haven't.
But it's more realistic that there will be some sort of a hybrid version, because as long as you have governments, they'll want to keep some control over things, I presume.
Yes, probably. It's a shame that we haven't invited anyone from the regulatory side. I'm sure the discussion would be more interesting. So yes, this is the position we want to take, to be the service providers between financial institutions and the blockchain technology. And we are of course looking forward to do that. I believe there is a huge opportunity on the market, and if anybody would like to discuss the specific projects that we are involved on, I'm of course available after the presentation. Thank you.